Sports is known for producing unforgettable moments of overcoming challenges, records, and amazing achievements. But every now and then, something so unexpected happens that it leaves athletes, referees, and fans struggling to believe what they just saw. I mean, what are the odds of an athlete losing a medal because she celebrated too soon? Of a runner winning a race by diving face first at the finish line? Or of a simple volleyball getting stuck in the ceiling after hitting a player square in the face? These are curious, stunning scenes that really took place in front of cameras and millions of viewers, and that's exactly what you're about to see here today. So leave your like, click that subscribe button down below, and let's get going. In the final of the women's 4x100 meter relay at the 19 Doha World Athletics Championships, the Chinese team pulled off one of the most bizarre and embarrassing moments of the whole competition. They were running a competitive race and still dreaming of a decent finish when absolutely everything went wrong during the final baton handoff. As they approached the exchange zone, Lin Weikang and Man Qige completely missed each other. The receiver accelerated way too much, while her teammate was too slow to release the baton, causing both athletes to blow past the allowed area for the exchange. Realizing their mistake, they stopped and sprinted back to try and fix things, but the confusion only got worse. In their desperate attempt to redo the pass within the regulation zone, they ended up fumbling it again, creating a moment that left the entire stadium utterly confused about what was happening. While other teams had already crossed the finish line, the Chinese team was still relentlessly going back and forth on the track, trying to complete their handoff in a valid way. The footage intensely circulated across social media and sports broadcasts worldwide, all because of how incredibly unusual the whole scene was. Despite their urgent effort to finish the race, that attempt to fix the exchange simply wasn't enough. In the end, the Chinese team was disqualified for breaking the rules of the baton passing zone, bringing a frustrating conclusion to a race that had looked so promising up until then. During the international 10-kilometer Okpekpe race held in Nigeria back in 2019, Kenyan runner Simon Cheprut delivered one of the greatest demonstrations of sportsmanship ever witnessed in a competition. With only a few meters left to the finish line, he noticed that another Kenyan athlete, Kenneth Kipkemoy, had collapsed on the asphalt, completely exhausted. Even though Cheprut was focused on finishing his own race and had arrived at the event as one of the title favorites, he didn't hesitate for a second. He stopped his run, went back to help his compatriot, lifted him up, and supported him until they both crossed the finish line together. That gesture caught the attention of everyone present and quickly gained international recognition. Cheprut had already won the race back in 2016 and finished in second place the year before that, so he arrived at the 2019 edition with very real chances of becoming the first ever two-time champion in the history of the competition. Even so, he chose to set aside any personal ambition in order to help out a fellow competitor who was struggling. After the race, he explained that he acted based on a lesson from his father, who always told him never to abandon someone in need along the way. That attitude deeply moved the organizers, the authorities, and the spectators alike. As recognition for this powerful demonstration of humanity and fair play, Cheprut received a total reward of approximately $15,000 offered by sponsors and local officials. Although he did not take home the gold medal on that day, he ended up being regarded as the true hero of the race. Ring girls usually catch the audience's attention for a reason beyond the fights themselves: their beauty, charisma, and stage presence. While the athletes exchange blows inside the cage, they help compose the spectacle by walking around the octagon between the rounds. But during one MMA event, a ring girl found herself at the center of a completely unexpected and painful scene. The episode happened after the fight between American Andrew Whitney and Farkhad Sharipov at Titan FC 42. After 3 highly contested rounds, the athletes waited for the official announcement from the judges. Whitney seemed confident in a positive outcome, but when he heard that he had lost by unanimous decision, he couldn't hide his frustration. In a burst of anger, he threw a punch into the air to the side, trying merely to let out his disappointment. The problem was that a ring girl happened to be standing right beside him at that exact moment. The blow ended up hitting the young woman directly in the face, shocking everyone present. As soon as he realized what happened, Whitney's expression instantly shifted. The fighter became visibly desperate, ran toward the ring girl, hugged her, and began apologizing repeatedly, checking on her. Fortunately, despite the shock and the force of the impact, the ring girl didn't suffer serious injuries. According to the Titan FC CEO, she was examined by event medics and said she was fine, claiming she was more surprised than hurt by the situation. In track and field, only a handful of athletes managed to draw so much attention even before a race begins, like Australian Michelle Janicki. While most competitors silently concentrate on the starting line, she became incredibly famous around the world for her energetic and lively warm-up dance, a relaxed ritual that blends smiles, hip movements, and tons of pure energy. That unique gesture eventually became her trademark and transformed her into a true internet sensation. During the Glasgow Commonwealth Games in 2014, Janicki performed that signature and famous dance once again before her 100-meter hurdles heat. The cameras, as had become the usual practice, zoomed in on her while she executed the moves that had made her so incredibly famous 2 years earlier at the World Junior Championships in Barcelona. The moment quickly caught the attention of the live crowd, television viewers, and international sports media, who once again highlighted the remarkable combination of charisma, confidence, and easygoing and spirited nature of this talented Australian athlete. But behind all that online buzz was a truly high-level competitor. After her dance, Michelle proved she wasn't just there to entertain the crowd. She turned in an outstanding performance, securing her spot in the finals of the 100-meter hurdles, and continued to represent Australia in one of the biggest competitions of her career. In the final race, she finished in 5th place, while her compatriot took home the gold medal. Ever since then, that warm-up dance has become directly linked to Michelle Janicki's name. What began as a spontaneous habit to shake off the nerves before her races eventually transformed into one of the most iconic moments in athletics history. In track and field, losing a shoe during a race usually means the end of any chance at victory. But at the 2017 Junior Olympic Games, a young runner showed that determination can overcome even the most absurd, unexpected events. During the final of the women's 4x400 meter relay in the 15 to 16 age category, the team from Motor City Track Club was fighting for every meter in pursuit of the national title. When it was time for the athlete responsible for the final lap, something unexpected happened. One of her shoes came loose and was left behind on the track. Instead of stopping or slowing down, she kept running with only one shoe on her foot, facing the final straightaway in an extremely uncomfortable situation. Even at a disadvantage, the runner maintained her speed and resisted the pressure of the opponents who were closing in. Still, she didn't lose the lead and managed to cross the finish line in 1st place, securing the title for the Motor City Track Club. The victory became one of the most remarkable moments of that Junior Olympics edition. During the final of the 3,000-meter steeplechase at the 2017 World Athletics Championships in London, one of the top favorites for the podium ended up causing an absolutely astonishing scene by simply going the wrong way on the track. Kenyan runner Beatrice Chepkwech was racing among the leading pack when, after one lap, she got confused approaching the water jump barrier, which is one of the main obstacles in the event. Instead of entering the correct area and leaping over the hurdle, she just kept running along the inside part of the track, as if she were competing in a regular flat race. A few meters later, she realized she had made a serious mistake. Once she noticed the confusion, Chepkwech was forced to turn back along the course to redo the section correctly and clear the obstacle she had completely skipped. That decision saved her from an immediate disqualification, but it cost her an enormous amount of time. While the other competitors kept pushing forward, the Kenyan lost several positions and fell far behind the main pack. The most impressive part, however, came afterward. Even after losing precious seconds and dropping to the very last positions, Chepkwech began a spectacular recovery, showing incredible physical endurance. She overtook her opponents one by one throughout the final laps and managed to finish the race in 4th place, coming extremely close to the podium. Despite the mistake that seemed to have ended any chance of a good result, The story gained even more prominence because less than a year later, Beatrice Chepogei made an extraordinary comeback. In 2018, she set a new world record in the 3,000-meter steeplechase, proving that the London episode was just a rare moment of distraction in a career marked by excellence. In long-distance competitions, there's a rule every athlete picks up from day one: the race doesn't end until you cross that finish line. But Spanish racewalker Laura Garcia Caro discovered the hard way just how painful that lesson can be during the 2024 European Athletics Championships in Rome. After nearly 20 kilometers of grueling effort in the racewalking event, Garcia Caro entered the final stretch in that crucial third place, a position that guaranteed her a bronze medal. Completely convinced the podium was hers, she proudly grabbed a Spanish flag, smiled at the cameras, and began celebrating before she'd even crossed the finish line. With the medal seemingly locked in, the athlete raised her arms and let her concentration slip in those final meters. What she failed to notice was that Ukrainian Lyudmila Ulyanovska was rapidly closing in from behind, and that realization hit her way too late. Just a few meters from the finish line, the Ukrainian overtook the Spanish athlete and snatched the third-place spot almost exactly on the line, turning her moment of celebration into one of the most dramatic endings in recent track and field history. The footage perfectly captured the shift in Laura Garcia Caro's expression. In a matter of seconds, her joyful smile of triumph was replaced by sheer shock and disbelief as she realized the medal had slipped away. After the race, the Spaniard openly admitted her disappointment. She explained that she had suffered immensely throughout the event, managed to recover in the final stretch, and truly believed she had secured the bronze in those last meters. In the world of mixed martial arts, it's common for winners to pose for photos alongside the ring girls after their fights. However, South Korean fighter Park Dae-sung became known for doing the exact opposite. Instead of approaching them for the traditional celebration pictures, he began to avoid them entirely, even going so far as to step away whenever one of them attempted to position herself next to him following a victory. The reason for this somewhat unusual behavior actually traces back to an incident that occurred back in 2016 after a particular match. During the commemorative photography session, Park Dae-sung placed his arm around the waist of a ring girl and pulled her closer toward him while he was celebrating his win. The images sparked immediate controversy, and the young woman later stated that she had felt extremely uncomfortable with the entire situation. The case gained massive traction online, leading the fighter to face accusations of inappropriately touching the woman and an intense wave of criticism across social media. According to later reports, the investigation did not result in a criminal conviction, and the case was ultimately closed without Park being found guilty. Even so, the entire backlash seems to have left a deep and lasting mark on the athlete, who completely changed his conduct. A few months afterward, when he won another fight, he staged an unusual scene by carefully avoiding getting close to the ring girl during the photo session. In some videos, you can clearly see him moving away and showing reluctance to repeat any of those actions that could generate new negative interpretations. He appears very cautious, trying hard not to trigger any misunderstandings ever again. During a match between the women's national teams of Turkey and Russia, a play unfolded that was so improbable, it left athletes, referees, and fans completely stunned. In the middle of an offensive rally, Russian player Natalia Goncharova received the ball and unleashed an extremely powerful spike straight toward the opposing court. The ball ended up hitting the head of Turkey's Gildeniz Erden square on, who had no time to react at all. The impact was so intense that the ball's trajectory changed completely. What happened next looked like something straight out of a cartoon. After bouncing off Erden's head, the ball shot upward at high speed and ended up stuck in the gym's ceiling. To everyone's amazement, it literally got lodged in the upper structure of the arena, something incredibly rare in a professional volleyball match. For several seconds, the players just stood there looking up, trying to figure out where the ball had gone. That whole moment caught everyone's attention, not just because of the impressive power behind Goncharova's strike, but also the almost impossible chain of events that followed. The ball hitting the opposing athlete, changing its trajectory, and then getting stuck on the gymnasium's extremely high ceiling. Fortunately, despite the big scare, Erden didn't suffer any serious consequences and was able to continue playing normally. Just moments before stepping into an Olympic competition, most athletes try to maintain their calm and concentration. However, German judoka Martina Traglos caught the world's attention thanks to a pre-fight ritual that seemed like something straight out of an action movie. During the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games in 2021, cameras caught coach Claudiu Pusa holding Traglos by her kimono, shaking her forcefully, and slapping her face twice just moments before she stepped onto the mat for her fight. The footage quickly sparked an enormous wave of reactions. The backlash was so huge that the athlete herself had to make a public statement. Just hours later, Martina explained that it was all part of a ritual she herself had chosen to get into the ideal mental state before her matches. According to the judoka, her coach was simply doing exactly what she had asked him to do in order to help her become more alert and fully ready to compete. In a joking tone, she even commented that the slaps apparently weren't strong enough since she ended up getting eliminated in her debut. Despite the athlete's explanation, the scene continued to spark debates. The International Judo Federation considered the behavior inappropriate for the image of the sport and issued an official warning to the coach, stating that such conduct did not align with the values and moral code of judo. Even with all the controversy, Martina Traglos stood by her defense of the coach and firmly insisted that the ritual was completely consensual and part of her psychological preparation. In ice hockey, fights are part of the sport's culture and aren't exactly uncommon. But what happened during a match between the New York Rangers and the New Jersey Devils back in March of 2024 was so absurd that it went down in league history before the game had even truly officially started. The moment the puck was dropped into play, the athletes barely had time to touch it. With just 2 seconds gone in the matchup, players from both teams dropped their sticks and gloves and launched into a series of simultaneous confrontations. In a matter of moments, 5 different fights were breaking out at the same time all across the rink, turning the start of the game into absolute utter chaos. This crazy situation was the result of a rivalry that had already been heating up between these two teams. Even before this particular showdown began, there was anticipation that tempers would definitely be running high due to serious incidents that had happened in earlier games. What nobody expected, however, was that the players would decide to settle the score immediately after the opening whistle. Once the referees finally managed to bring the utter chaos under control, a total of 8 players got ejected from the contest, 4 from each side. Among those involved were some of the top key athletes whose job exactly is to protect their teammates and impose physical respect on their entire elite squad. Countless fans were left in complete disbelief, seeing that the game basically kicked off with an all-out brawl before any major play had even occurred. And that's exactly what went down in this iconic event. In high-level competitions, the spotlight is usually fixed directly on the athletes performing out on the court. But during a Women's Volleyball Nations League match between the United States and the Netherlands back in 2021, it was the Dutch coach, Avital Sellinger, who ended up stealing the entire show for a few brief seconds. While following a developing play very close to the sideline, Sellinger completely and unexpectedly lost his balance. As he tried to move quickly in the technical area, he lost his footing and fell rather awkwardly right in front of the cameras and the watching crowd. But what really transformed this incident into a viral phenomenon was what happened immediately after. Seizing the momentum from the fall, he executed an almost acrobatic maneuver to get back up on his feet in just a matter of seconds, as if the whole thing had been carefully choreographed. Many internet users joked that the recovery was even more impressive than some of the match's actual plays, while others compared the move to a dramatic action movie scene or a slick martial arts technique. Don't forget to subscribe so you can keep watching more videos like this one.